Shalom to all the Jews and Gentiles alike. Sending a strong shalom to the children of light. Namaste to all. You already know what the deal is. I give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, our power, to 𝐻𝐸 𝐸 through the Holy Shekinah. Acknowledgement to our elder brother, Yahushua HaMashiach, Yahushai, Mata the Lamb, 𝐯𝐢𝐝 Yesiah the Messiah, Yahusha, the Lion from the tribe of Yehuda, the one the world calls Jesus Christ. So today, we're going to be getting into something different today. We're going to be going into the Testament of the 12 Patriarchs. Yes, we're going to be taking a break from the keys, because the keys can be very, very difficult at times. Okay, it's definitely one of the higher teachings. And I know sometimes it can be really confusing, right? So just to kind of take a break from the keys, we've been going into the Testament of the 12, and we'll be talking about that spirit of anger. So we're gonna be covering the spirit of anger in this video. Nothing really too long, just something to snack on. So let's go to the Testament of Dan in the Testament of the 12. We're going to go to chapter 2, verse 1. And now, my children, I am dying, and I say to you in truth that if you do not guard yourself against the spirit of falsehood and anger, and love truth and forbearance, you will perish. There is blindness in anger, my children, and there is no angry person who can perceive the face of truth. For even if one is his father or mother, he treats them as enemies. If it is his brother, he does not recognize him. If it is a prophet of the Lord, he misunderstands. If it is a just man, he is unaware of him. If a friend, he ignores him. For the spirit of anger ensnares him in the nets of deceit, blinds his eyes literally, darkens his understanding by means of a lie, and provides him with its own peculiar perspective. By what means does it ensnare the vision? By hatred in the heart, it gives him a peculiar disposition to envy his brother. Anger is evil, my children, for it becomes the motivating force of the soul itself. That force has strange effects on the body of the angry man. It dominates his soul and provides the body with a peculiar power so that it can accomplish every lawless act. When the soul acts, it justifies whatever is done, since it lacks discernment. So then whoever is angry, if he is a powerful person, has triple strength by reason of his anger. First, through the power and support of his subordinates. Second, through his wealth, by which he can win by persuasive acts and triumph in injustice. Third, he has the natural force of his body, and through it he accomplishes evil. But if the angry one is a weak person, his strength is twice that of nature, for anger always supports such persons in their transgression. The spirit always moves with falsehood at the right hand of Hashatan, in order that such deeds may be done through savagery and deception. So if you in this state of anger, you already vibrating low. You at a low frequency, because I mean anger is a low frequency, right? And it kind of reminds me of the Sith in Star Wars, on how they use anger as a power, right? It's just really interesting how you can see these little things in these movies. And one thing that I'm really starting to see now is that your enemies really they aren't external. It's really you. Okay, it's really you. All right, chapter 4. Understand then the power of anger, that it is senseless. First, it arouses by spoken word. Then by actions, it gives strength to the one who is aroused. By sharp losses, it perturbs his mind, and thus arouses his soul with great anger. When anyone speaks against you, do not be moved to anger. And if anyone praises you as being kind, do not be elated nor be carried away, neither by pleasure nor by shame. First, it is pleasant to hear, and thus it sharpens the mind to be sensitive to some provocation. And then, when anyone is aroused by anger, it makes him suppose his self-esteem is justified. If you suffer a loss, if you undergo the destruction of anything, do not become alarmed, my children, because the spirit makes one desire what is transitory, in order that he might be made angry over what he is missing. If you lose something, by your own action or otherwise, do not be sorrowful, for grief arouses anger as well as deceits. Anger and falsehood together are a double-edged evil, and work together to perturb the reason. And when the soul is continually perturbed, the Lord withdraws from it, and Beliar rules it. So for those that don't know, Beliar is another name for Satan. But also another thing you need to understand is Satan also is a title. So keep that in mind as well. Alright. So really when it comes down to controlling that anger, you really need to get that self-control. Right? So you're gonna need a spirit with you. So let's get a precept out of Dhammapada. Alright, we're gonna get a whole different little perspective here, right? And so speaking on self-control, and you really gonna need self-control when it comes to anything. So let's go to the Dhammapada, chapter 8, verse 4. One may conquer 1,000,000 men in a single battle. However, the greatest and best warrior conquers himself. Conquest of oneself is the greatest victory of all. Now let's go to chapter 17 from the top. Shun anger, let go of pride, break out of every shackle. Whoever is not tied to possessions, clinging neither to body nor mind, is never in bondage. See, and that is what society strives to keep your mind on. They strive to keep your mind on external things, right? Material possessions. They don't want you to see what's beyond this 3D realm. Verse 2. Whoever controls his anger is like a true charioteer, in command of the rolling chariots, and not just holding on the reins. Where there is anger, apply loving kindness. Where there is evil, offer good. Where there is stinginess, be generous. Where there are lies, be truthful. Speak the truth, control anger. Share even from your meager store. These 3 steps lead to the presence of the shining ones, the whole light beings. Verse 10. Avoid rash action. Be restrained in action, giving up wrong deeds. Exercise right action. Avoid rash speech. Be restrained in speech, giving up wrong speech. Exercise right speech. Avoid mental agitation. Be restrained in mind, giving up wrong thoughts. Think good thoughts. Those who practice restraints in body, word, and mind are surely in control of themselves. So, as you can see, we went out of the Bible, I mean, we were already in the Testament of the 12, right? That's not in the Bible. So we were already out. We were already out the Bible to begin with. Okay. Now we go back to the Testament of the 12. We're gonna go to the Testament of Dan. No, not Dan. We already did Dan. Gad. Okay. Chapter 4. Beware, my children, of those who hate, because it leads to lawlessness against the Lord himself. Hatred does not want to hear repeated his commands concerning love of his neighbor, and thus it sins against the Most High. For if a brother makes a false step, immediately it wants to spread the tale to everyone, and is eager to have him condemned for it, punished, and executed. If the hater is a slave, he conspires against his master, and whenever difficulty arises, it plots how he might be killed. Hatred collaborates with envy when it sees or hears about the prosperity of those who do well. It is perpetually peevish, just as love wants to bring the dead back to life and to recall those under sentence of death. So hate wants to kill the living and does not wish to preserve alive those who have committed the slightest sin. For among all men, the spirit of hatred works by Satan through human frailty for the death of mankind. But the spirit of love works by the law of the Most High through forbearance for the salvation of mankind. Chapter 5. Hatred is evil, since it continually consorts with lying. Speaking against the truth, it makes small things big, turns light into darkness, says that the sweet is bitter, teaches slander, conflict, violence, and all manner of greed. It fills the heart with diabolical venom. I tell you this, my children, from experience, so that you might escape hatred and cling to the love of the Most High. Righteousness expels hatred. Humility kills envy. For the person who is just and humble is ashamed to commit an injustice, not because someone else will pass judgment on him, but out of his own heart, because the Most High considers his inner deliberations. He will not denounce a fellow man, since fear, or what it should say is reverence, of the Most High overcomes hatred. So that spirit of anger, it's gotta go. It's gotta go. Especially if you're trying to get picked up, if you're trying to get on out of here, gotta clean that up. But that's it for this little lesson, this little video. Hopefully you got something out of it. Hopefully you had a little snack. You came in, got you a nice old pantry snack. That's it for this video. I say shalom and stay strong.